guys, it's Delcy here. Don't mind the background. I do not have my usual office. We just sold our family home because we're going to be traveling for a couple of years. This information that I'm about to bring to you is gold. If you're a business owner and you're wondering, should I be hiring this person? Should I be letting go of this person? Now that I have hired this person, how do I make sure that they're doing what I'm paying them to do? And if you're thinking to yourself, I have a team and yet I'm doing so much of the work and I'm not generating enough profit, I'm not seeing myself work on my business, instead I'm consistently within my business and I feel stuck and stagnant, then this flowchart that I'm about to share with you is going to be amazing and a lifesaver for you. I have a couple of clients right now that I'm working with, and one of the most common threads that I'm seeing in them is that they've either hired people and do not know what to do with them, or don't know how to manage them, or they're questioning whether they should hire somebody, or they're questioning whether the person on their team that they have hired should have been hired in the first place. Now, all of these challenges and problems can be mitigated so easily when you follow this flowchart that I'm about to explain. Every time we hire, we seem to be hiring because we think that's going to be the thing that grows our business. But here's the secret that nobody tells you in business. People equal more problems. If you have a problem and if you're trying to throw a person at it, then be prepared because you're probably going to have a bigger problem. But here's the thing, people married with processes, the right processes in place, that's going to give you the profit that you're wanting. So what's this process to start off with? The first thing, when you're hiring somebody, and this is for you business owners right now listening that have already hired, this is going to really help you assess the current team members to see whether are they seriously in the right seat and do they actually belong in your organization. The first thing I do whenever I have hired anybody, I'm not looking at all of the things that need to be getting done. Here's the thing, the to-do list never gets completed. Have you noticed that? Where you're adding things on the to-do list and you're checking them off, but more things get added and it's just like a never-ending list, okay? And if you're hiring based on that, then you're probably going to hire for the symptoms that your business is presenting rather than the actual root causes of what it needs. So the first thing to think about when hiring is, what am I hiring for? So in my portfolio, whenever I've hired, I've always asked myself, if I hire this person, what time can I buy back for myself? I'm hiring to get my time back. The number one thing I have to be clear on before hiring is the DNA of the organization that I'm hiring for. DNA in our bodies, let's go for this, okay? I'm a science background here. So DNA in our bodies, it's the expression, how we look, everything, our eye color, our hair, all of this is determined by what genes are expressed, right? If you think about the DNA in your business, the people outside of your business, external to your business, if they look into it, they got to be able to know when they look into there, who are you? What do you do? What do you stand for? What's your lens? How do you view the world? How do you view your people? How do you view your audience? This is really important to understand your philosophy about your business, because without this, the entire communication, not just within your team, but your communication in your hiring ad that you're putting out is going to be skewed, and you're probably going to attract incorrect talent, right? And you're either going to be overpaying for things that are not being done or underpaying, and then the talent just leaves. So this is really important to understand, what is your DNA in your business? And then once you understand the philosophies of your business and who you are and what you stand for, you want to ask yourself a really important question. So many business owners ask the question, what's the vision of my business? And although that's a really powerful question, and that's a great question to ask, and I'm going to get to that, the question that you want to first ask is, what is the vision for my life? What kind of life do I want to live? What does my life look like in 1 year's time, in 3 years' time, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, if you want to expand that far, which I suggest you do. So, because I've always believed your business is a vehicle to get you to live the life that you want to live. And so oftentimes business owners have a vision for their business and they're not clear for the vision for their life. And usually because they're not clear, there's a conflict within that. And so to get clear on that, you want to ask yourself first, what's the vision for my life? What kind of life do I want to live? And therefore, what is my business got to look like? What does my business have to do? Where does my business have to be so that I can live this beautiful life? Okay, really important question. So they have to align. When you know that and you start understanding that in your business in 3 years' time, you're not the person managing people, you start rewinding the clock and you go, okay, what needs to happen now? And what are the roles that need to be created in my business so that I'm in alignment with that particular vision? And once you understand the role, here's the most important thing before you go into the role duties or responsibilities of it. That's still the to-do list. That's still the tasks. What you want to ask yourself is this very important question. And this is a question that's missed often. What's this role supposed to produce in my business so that my business can carry on and reach the destination that I've said it needs to reach in 3 years' time? So I'm hoping you're following this flowchart, all right? So the first is about understanding what's that philosophy? Who do we stand for? Getting clear about this DNA, how we express ourselves as a business. From there, what's the life you want to live? And therefore, what's the life your business has to live so that it's in alignment? From there, you want to move into, okay, so if this is what the business needs, here are the roles it needs to have for this to happen. And within the role, there is always a result, an outcome that needs to be produced. Not what to do yet, not the how to do it, not the to-do list, but really to understand what's the result I am going to be producing. Because here's the thing, in business, we get paid for results. We don't get paid for bringing the best coffee to the table. We don't get paid for, with my clients, no matter my smile, no matter how my hugs might be really warm. But if I'm not getting them the results, I'm pretty sure they're not going to pay me and they're not going to be very happy. So business is all about results. And you want to ask yourself, what is the result that this role has to produce? So I'm going to give you an example. If the role is one of a sales rep, like a person who's going to be doing lead calls and outreaches and getting prospects on the phone and things like that, perhaps the result is that for every 20 conversations, 15 get offered a booking or a consultation. And out of the 15, perhaps it's 13 or 12 need to actually show up. And after that, about 10 need to actually be converted. So your results have to be quantifiable and measurable. So these are your KPIs. So these are the results and the standards that you're setting for this role to exist. And this is really key because as I'm saying this, you might already be starting to think about some of the roles you have and the people in your roles, and you might be going, wait a minute, this person has not actually been hitting their standards. Or you might be listening right now and you're going to probably go, holy crap, I have not even set any standards, and therefore your people are just doing whatever they want. So once you understand the results of the role, you want to ask yourself, what are those critical drivers that are going to get you to that result? So I'll give you a really simple example. If I wanted to lose weight, and let's say my goal was to lose 10 kgs, my critical drivers would be all of the action steps that I would need to do to be able to produce the result. For example, I would need to be going to the gym 5 times a week, perhaps. Perhaps I need to be on a certain diet. Perhaps I need to cook with X amount of ingredients. Perhaps I need to have these types of recipe books that's going to help me to get there. Perhaps I need weighing scales because I need to weigh myself every week to chart myself. The result is the measurable destination, the thing you want to produce or where you want to get to. And the critical drivers are all the things that you must action or do to be able to proficiently and effectively get to that particular result. All right. And once you understand that, you will be able to know exactly what kind of training, resources, coaching, any meetings that you need to be having with your team members so that they have they're equipped with all of the things that they need to be able to produce the result in their role. Now we go down the flowchart again and we go, what are the core competencies that we want to have in this particular person? Is a core competency that they need to have fluent English? Is the core competency that they must be proficient in a particular application? So what is the core competencies of this particular person? And then there are these 6 haves. So the 6 haves is the 3 must-haves and the 3 nice-to-haves. So what are the 3 must-haves? Perhaps they must have previous experience of this particular role, right? So what are the must-haves that are non-negotiables for you? And then what are the 3 nice-to-haves? And once you start mapping this out, and I promise you right now, all of my clients, as they've done this, they've had so much clarity, even myself having so much clarity on who I need to have on my team in my organization, because I'm so clear on where my organization needs to be in a particular time frame. Now, if you're a business owner and you already have team members, I encourage you, when you're doing this flowchart, avoid having your team members in your head and avoid putting any names on this as of right now until you get to the end. And the reason why I say this is because I remember having a call with one of my clients and we were mapping all of this out for her. And at first she looked at me and she thought, wow, yep, this looks really great. And then she asked a really interesting question. She said, where is Miss X gonna go on the chart? And I said, what do you mean? And she goes, this looks really great, but I don't know where she fits in all of this. And I said, maybe she does not fit into the organization in this particular season. And so this is really important, but you're a human being, and with human beings, we all have our emotional subsystem. If you're going to do this exercise and you're going to have your team members in mind, you may make decisions out of emotional bias. And so just be aware of that. And that's why whenever I've done this exercise for myself, I make sure that I remove all names and all faces out of my mind. I tame my mind, and I make sure that I'm doing this purely for the reasons of knowing exactly where I need to be, when I need to be there, and therefore who is going to be the right fit of people for this particular season to get me there, right? I can tell you very clearly right now that if you do this flowchart, what it's helped me with, and lots of other people as well, it's helped all of us understand who we need on the team, why we need them, what they need to be producing. It allows you to then set up trainings, resources that they're going to need to set them up for success, so your talent are not set up for failure. But more so, because you have clarity on the standards that you're setting, you can create review processes so that over time, in frequency, you can really evaluate whether the person that you brought into your organization is sticking to those standards. And if they're not, is there something missing on your end, or is there something missing on their end? I hope by doing this, you can get the freedom that I've been able to get, which is really buying back my own time so that I can use the time to create more and more value that I'm really passionate about.